Hi everyone.
Welcome to Scrolling Minds, the podcast where we discuss the fascinating world about psychology.
One topic at a time. So we are your co-hosts for the day. I'm Joanna,
I'm CK.
and today we'll be exploring a very interesting topic on this episode, and it's something we all have in our hands all of the time. You
Yeah.
know what?
Smartphones.
Exactly. So today I thought we'll unpack about how having smartphones all of the time, us being on smartphones all of the time, is affecting the way we use language, the way we do our information processing. And for today's special episode, we have our dear friends on the podcast. They are Jivita, Asha, and Shilpa. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thank you.
Honestly, Joe, I was just scrolling through Instagram while I was doing research for this episode. Ironic, isn't it?
Exactly. It's so crazy that even if you have to do the smallest task, we end up scrolling on Instagram or Twitter, right? And that made me think about how we have this instinct now to scroll all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was thinking we could talk about that. We could talk about how phones are literally hijacking our attention and our attention span.
Yeah, right. That's something psychologists called as cognitive load theory. It means our brain is not designed to focus on multiple things at a time. Whenever we get notifications or something, our brain will automatically shift its focus towards notifications. So it will be extraneous efforts on our cognitive load.
Now let's think about texting. Nowadays we are so adapted to use the abbreviations like LOL, emojis, and we are so adapted for shorthands also. We almost use each and every parts of the text or writing parts and all. So there is a research going on how it impacts our thinking, because that is how we are thinking and processing our brain to get the shorter chunks.
So there is evidence actually, based on what she just said, that the digital environment is actually reshaping our brain. Have you all read about that book by Mariana Moore?
No.
It's a really amazing book. Like, you have to read about it. What she's actually talking about is, like, I'll try to cut it down so that I bring the main points here. So usually she talks about the three kind of readers. The first readers who's just taking in like information, like the basic information, and the second one is like for entertainment they're reading. Okay? And the third one was actually like reading in depth. And this in-depth kind of reading actually helps us to get like a understanding of ourselves, like self-reflection and all that work actually happens when you're reading anytime like in depth. And this form of reading is not there anymore. Okay, so this is actually affecting our cognitive processes and how our information is processed. So actually, it's a really fascinating way that she explains how this deep kind of reading is affecting.
Yeah.
So, does this also bring up the topic of neuroplasticity? Because, as you said, smartphones are
does.
literally reshaping our brains. So,
Yeah, exactly. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability, like how we change and adapt with our experiences. So, the constant use of the digital tools is creating new neural pathways, enhancing our visual spatial skills and multitasking abilities.
So that is very fascinating.
Yeah.
but isn't there like a negative to it? Like, if you think about it?
Well, there was a study. Okay, I read about this study where there was like an experiment done on college students. Okay, and these college students, like what they did is like some college students were allowed to use AI to study, and some were not. Okay, and also like use their phones in class. So the control group who didn't use like phones in class and use of AI, they did like 62% better than the students who used AI and that is only because the students who are not using like phones and all were very present in the moment. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you're present in the moment and when you're writing notes and all that, they say that because you're like processing information like slowly and you're there like when you're processing, so the memory is going from like short term to long term. And as we have studied, like only when memory goes to long term can we can we keep it in our brains and use it again when we need it. So the study was there actually.
So basically, when we use smartphones for studying,
Yes.
there's a lot of shallow processing
Yes, exactly.
instead of deeper processing. So even though neuroplasticity plays a good role by making new neural pathways, these neural pathways are quite short term.
Exactly.
Guys, What about the development in kids? Isn't it the big deal?
Definitely, Chandrakant. This will give rise to the Piaget's theory of cognitive development, where smartphone nowadays influencing how children's progress is off. Firstly, when it comes to the sensory motor and pre-operational stage, kids are nowadays prone to touch screens and they are so into using the emojis and GIF. So this is how it will gonna affect their sensory motor and pre-operational stage. And next comes the second stage where they're gonna be facing the problem of having so connected to the gadgets which are making them to feel so much of overloaded with information, and it has very impact on their critical thinking as well as their deepening of the informations.
Okay. Have you all also read about this Vygotsky's social cultural theory? So there he says that learning is actually mediated through like using tools and social interactions. And if you see in the modern era, no, the tools are like texting, video calls, and social media, and that is actually mediated through the social interaction, because now like it's not just like people who you know in the neighborhood, also international because of the internet and everything. So we have the modern tools plus the societal support from everyone.
Guys, would Vygotsky see smartphones as a good thing?
Yes and no, because on the one hand, smartphones facilitates collaborative learning and increases the social interactions between people across the distance. Okay, so when on the other side, over relying on those smartphones will reduce the face-to-face interactions. So Vygotsky viewed this as a crucial for the development of social and emotional skills.
That's so fascinating. I guess it's so surprising all these things are connected to smartphones. So what's
Yeah.
the takeaway here? Should we ditch all our smartphones and go live in the woods?
It's so tempting, but it's not at all practical if you see it.
So in Canada, there is a law where below the children who are below 16 years age are not supposed to use Instagram because it's banned over there. It's all about balance. Nowadays, parents has to set a limits for children to have the screen timing and ensure that children will gonna have face-to-face interaction, and they're gonna have the opportunity to learn and to have a deep conversation with face-to-face.
I so agree, no? And also, if you think about adults, even adults can have like some strategies and some areas like phone-free zones, okay, where you don't use your phones at all. So that's like how we are talking like face-to-face. And also schedule time, like uninterrupted time for reading, because then you'll have some that in-depth reading which is really necessary. And this also connects to how Dr. Mariana Wolf says that in-depth reading is necessary for our cognitive development.
Yeah, or even we can use the technology itself, like the mindfulness apps and timers to focus.
Yes.
Great ideas, guys. So with that, we'll wrap up this today's episode. And thank you for joining this fascinating episode of how smartphones are affecting our mindset and behaviors. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on this special episode of our podcast. We loved your insights and we hope you had fun doing this.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the invite.
Follow us on social media, but responsibly.
Like, share.
And subscribe. And this is us signing off. Bye-bye.
Meet you in the next episode.
Okay, so welcome to Scrolling Minds. This is a podcast where we talk about a lot of psychological concepts, a lot of psychological topics. And recently, this episode that you just saw right now was about how smartphones are affecting the way we do information processing, the way we use language. So, on this special episode, we want to take public opinion, and that's why we are doing this live today. So, can you guys just express your entire day with a few emojis? So, just go ahead, type out what your day looked like with a few emojis. Okay, so Rachel is full dancy, looks happy. Shen's Matthew is very happy, crying in between, fed up and angry now. Gifton looks sick, he has a few sick emojis. Dance with Reality has a upside down smiley face, cool face. Shilpa says she is mind blown. Lisa is in a Christmas mode. She feels really happy, loved. Rachel Anthony is sleepy, dancing, quite happy. Looks like Alan is just depressed. Snow Ducky is clock. Oh, you reached work on time today? You didn't? Okay, so interesting. I like how all of you expressed your day in a few emojis. Now, second question is, do you think autocorrect has made us better spellers, or are we just blaming our typos on our phones now? What do you guys think? Like, it could just be like a small explanation. What do you guys think? Do you think autocorrect is just like we're just saying, blaming like autocorrect for our wrong spellings now, or are we just actually getting bad at spelling? Okay, so Alfred Justin says we're blaming typos. Sneha just came up with her emojis. She looks like she's having a great day. Okay, so a lot of us are saying we're blaming typos. Dance with Reality says definitely blaming the phone, bro. Gifton says it makes me more lazy, haven't learned anything. Snow Ducky says autocorrect sucks. So I think we all agree that autocorrect, might be helping with words, but our brain capacity to remember words and the spellings, all of that is getting bad, right? Okay, got it. Now, another question is, how often do you guys use abbreviations like LOL, OMG in real life conversations? Because usually we use that in text, but do you think we are using that in real life conversations also a lot nowadays? Shins Matthew says lol every day. Gifton says very often because it saves time. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of saying laugh out loud every time, I can just say lol. Yeah, right. Snow Ducky says nope. He uses proper language. Oh, Josh says only in text, not in real life convo. So that's interesting. Josh is not very Gen Z then. Josh is real. Josh talks normally. Rachel says not at all. Interesting. Dance with Reality says lol, definitely can't live without it. So interesting. So that's like we got a mixed response for that. So very, very, very interesting. Now, last question for the day is, has smartphones shortened our attention spans? And do you think using a smartphone like makes you a good multitasker? So yeah, that's like two questions. But do you think smartphones have shortened our attention spans? What do you guys think? Shavani says, yes, it has, of course, and yes, I'm good at multitasking. Shens Matthew says, I'm working and attending your live together, doing multitasking now. So for Shens, it works out. Dance with Reality says, yes, it is because I can't remember Jackson without the Notepad app. Okay, so I see how technology is helping you guys multitask. Gifton, it helps with a lot of things, but yes, makes us lazy for everyday things. Right. Okay, so that's a lot of nice responses. Thanks, guys, for putting in your opinions. We got a lot of interesting responses. Do see our podcast where we discuss all of these interesting concepts, and we talk about a lot of theories relating to attention span and how digital media and phones are literally affecting our information processing and language use. And thank you all for joining my live today. Really appreciate it, and have a great day. Use your phones responsibly. Bye-bye.